0 to 40 million playbook. Jack Henderson.
Where is the clicker? Sorry, I'm not wearing shoes. My feet are fucking sore. I've been running a lot. Is this the clicker? All right, let's rock and roll. So I thought I'm probably going to walk around and we'll get questions. But I thought instead of talking about resilience today, we'll talk about what most of you are here for, which is to grow your buyer's agent business. How many people actually run a business here? Show of hands. Most of you guys. So I'm going to show you the exact playbook that we use to get from $0 revenue in 2019 to 40 million this financial year. Alex Hormozy, massive inspiration. I'm in his mastermind. And what got you here will keep you stuck here. That's something that he constantly says, right? Because everyone just thinks repeating the same things over and over and over again will get growth. Generally, it does not get you growth. So again, a show of hands, who's at under $1 million revenue? Let's be honest here. We're in an honest forum, all right? No one's going to know. Under $1 mil? 1 to 5? 5 to 10? 10 to 20? All right, I just won't do that part. 20 plus. So I'm literally going to run you through what I focused on, what our team focused on, 0 to 1 million, 1 to 5 million, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 plus. Let's rock and roll. So there was a guy who asked me before I was out the front. He's like, oh, I'm at 500,000 worth of revenue. I want to get to $1 million worth of revenue. How do I do it? So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that. Then once you get to $1 million, what got you to $1 million won't get you to 5 million. And then once you get to 5 million, what got you there won't get you to 10, and so on and so on. So from 0 to $1 million, it's all about selling. No one knows who the fuck you are. No one cares about you. And all you need to do is volume of one thing, which is whatever is going to get you leads. It's so funny because when everyone starts a buyer's agent business, what's the first thing or any business, what's the first thing they do? They call up some logo guy. They're like, hey, I've started a business. It's going to be big time, all right? They spend 20 grand on a logo, on a website and all this shit, and no one even knows who you are, nor do they care. What you should spend that money on is getting leads, because that's what's actually going to grow your business. So you don't need a website, and I'll tell you a funny story about our website. You don't need a logo. You don't need to develop some big fancy funnel. You just need to go and get leads. You need to have conversations, lots of them. You need to make offers to people, lots of them. And you need to do volume of it, okay? Doing 20 calls a day is going to get you the results 20 calls a day will get you. And what type of results do you think that is? Results that won't grow you past $1 million, okay? So you have to understand how hard it is to grow a business to $1 million in the first place. And when you understand that, you'll understand the work that is required and the volume that is required to get you there. And once you do lots of those repetitions, I can guarantee you it will grow. I was talking to someone just before. It was one of the guys here. And he was doing 60 sign-ups or 80 sign-up meetings a month. Who was that? No, he's not here anymore. He left. He's going to implement. So he was doing like 60 sign-ups or 80 sign-ups a month, and they were converting 3 people of that. Oh, there he is, the big fella. So what do you reckon the problem is, or the constraint is of that business? Yeah, like the close rate's less than 10%, which means if you do nothing other than double your close rate, you will double your business, okay? And then if you can double your close rate, why not triple your close rate, and then start filling more in the top of the funnel. These are the 4 things that we focused on. 1 lead channel, not 10, not 20, not 50, 1. So some people are really, really good at getting referrals. That's all you should do. Go and meet every single mortgage broker and financial planner and real estate agent, whoever it is that has your ideal customer, do an unbelievable amount of volume of that one thing, and I can guarantee it'll bring you in more leads. And when you bring more leads in, you have more people to work with. Same thing with 1 lead channel, have 1 core offer. You heard Nathan, myself, and Emily up on stage before. Emily knows who her client is. They are an owner-occupier buyer in certain suburbs in Melbourne under $2 million. So when someone comes through and says, hey, I want to buy an apartment like Nathan bought in the Northern Territory for 80 grand or whatever it was, you reckon she goes, oh yeah, I can help with that? No, because she knows who her client is, and there's power in saying no to people. Okay, so when we start our businesses, we want to be everything to everyone, and what that makes you is nothing to no one. Okay, we understood when I started Henderson, we served owner-occupier buyers in the eastern suburbs of Sydney, and we charged 2% plus GST. And all we did all day, every day, Perry's here, Damo's here. It's a funny story. Damo used to have pizza shops, right? So he comes into like first day. I said, sit in on the sign-up meeting. I used to do face-to-face sign-up meetings before COVID happened. Sat down, done my pitch, 2%, $4 million budget, 80 grand fee. They walk out, he's like, bro, was that fucking 80 grand? I'm like, yeah, that was an $80,000 fee. He's like, bro, I used to sell fucking 500 pizzas. You know how hard it is? So it's an incredible business when you understand who your ideal customer is and you only sell to those people and you just do so much volume, it's not funny. Following up like a psycho. You've never met someone in your life who follows up more than Perry here. The Italian man with the bald head and the fancy suit. He is insane. And that's how he lands $25 million owner-occupier clients, right? It's not because he's better than Simon Cohen or he's more well-known or he does more deals. He just does not let people go until they either say fuck off or they sign up. That's the truth. So if you've got someone like him calling you every single day, 365, until you either buy or die, we say, there's only two options, buy or die. Most people call once or twice, get told to fuck off and never call again. Okay, this is not revolutionary shit, but you haven't even gotten to $1 million of revenue yet, so don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, and track everything. So you need to understand how many outbound dials do I need to make, or whatever it is, sign up, referral meetings, whatever your mode of lead generation is. How many of those do I need to sit to get a sign-up meeting or discovery call? How many discovery calls do I need to do to get a sign-up meeting? How many sign-up meetings do I need to do to get a client? And then what is my average buy time for a client? Okay? If you don't know these numbers, you will get beaten by someone who does, I can guarantee it. Okay? And don't worry about automating your CRM or getting some sexy nurturing funnel with the 10 leads you have in your CRM. They don't care, okay? Just focus on the things that matter, which is those 4 things. Make sense? Questions on those things? Most of you put your hand up for sub a mil, so I'm assuming there's some questions. Fuck me dead, everyone's a genius. All right. Yep. Absolutely. It's going to be very slow if you're doing organic. Emily's been doing social content for 7 years. Now her business is 80% social. When you start a business, my name's Jim and I'm a buyer's agent, 8 people are going to see that. That's the truth, right? And it takes time and compounding. When I first started, I've posted tens of thousands of pieces of content. And if you scroll back through my Instagram or Facebook and look at the first ones, look at how many views and comments I have. No one even knew I existed, but it started the process. So to do organic content straight out of the bat, like last week you were whatever you were and this week you're a buyer's agent, very slow. And I like predictable. So you can post 50 bits of content and get no clients and you're like, that's annoying. Very hard to make 1,000 calls and not start to get some data and clients, right? So I like predictable. I like to know if I do this thing, I get this outcome. Okay? So you do it in parallel with the thing that generates clients.
So like the first hire was like
Videographer. So he said, if you were starting again today, would you just do organic content or would you run ads? If I started again today, when I started, I had 50 grand in the bank. I would have run out of money. So no, I wouldn't. I would do things that don't cost money. When you're starting from zero, it takes time, right? But the good thing about getting leads and calling those leads is you're getting immediate feedback. That's the good thing. That's what I liked about it, is I got leads, I called them, I set appointments. You do more of that and it generates it. If you do 100 referral meetings and you get no referrals out of it, either you suck or you're meeting with the wrong people. That's the reality, right? So you got to change. You got to get data. That's what it's all about. Track everything, right? Because those things work. It's a guarantee that they work. It's just how well they work for you as an individual. Alrighty?
Yeah. So where's the best place to get these phone numbers from?
There's lots of different, right? Real estate agents. If you're you prospect a certain patch. We were eastern suburbs of Sydney. Eastern suburbs real estate agents had thousands and thousands and thousands of buyers. If you are another kind of buyer's agent, investment, national, whatever it is, you just think about where does my ideal customer hang out at volume or at scale. So it could be, so there's so many Facebook groups and instead of calling them, you might just DM them, doing hundreds and hundreds of DM messages. Could be mortgage brokers, there's a multitude. You just got to think about where does my ideal customer hang out and how do I get to them at scale. Yep. So if you are a buyer's agent with no staff and no leads, a really good deal to a real estate agent who's maybe similar to you, they might be selling 1 property a month or something like that, they probably don't have an associate. So you could say, hey, I've got a lot of time and I want leads. Let me come and be your associate for you for free. I'll do all your buyer callbacks. I'll make sure you know who your qualified buyers are and who are not. And out of that, I'd love to be able to work with any of the buyers that would be open to exploring a buyer's agent. Whatever deal you can broker. If you can say, I'm not paying you nothing, that's a better deal than giving someone 50%. So depends how good you are at cutting a deal, right? But it's all about trying to get the in. And you said, something about the buyer's agent. There's lots of buyer's agents doing it. Right now is a better time to start than in 5 years' time, because I can guarantee there's less right now than there will be in 5 years, right? So the faster you work, the more market share you'll take. The slower you work, the more market share you'll lose. Okay? All right, now you've gotten to $1 million. You've done one lead channel. You've called lots of people. You've met with lots of brokers. You've got momentum now. Amazing. There's revenue in the door. $1 million is, what, 20 grand a week or something? You're doing well. You're doing one deal a week. Now it's all about building a team, right? So I hired people before I got to $1 million of revenue. I wanted to be aggressive, but lots of people don't, right? You might have an associate or something like that. So now it's time to stop being the hero. I'm still the hero, but it's time for everyone else. That was a joke. It's time for everyone else to stop being the hero and start being the architect, right? You're starting to build a business. You need to have people around you to do the things that you're not that good at or the things that you don't like doing. Okay? These are the people. A setter is just an outbound prospector. A VA, I had a VA from day one. That's just a virtual assistant, offshore, manages an emails, books calendar appointments, all that jazz. Scripting your sales call. I would do this before you're at $1 million revenue, and the reason for that is because it creates predictability. You want to know that if you call 100 people and say the same thing to 100 people, this is the result. It's not if I call 100 people and say something different to all the 100 people, there's a variable there, right? You don't know what that variable is. So you want to script out your sales call. ChatGPT is amazing, right? Hey GPT, I'm a buyer's agent. I want to create a script for my sales call. I really like Chris Voss and the way that he talks. I also like Alex Hormozy. Can you create me a sales script? This is the initial outbound call. Whooshka, 30 seconds later, you've got a sales call, a script, okay? You don't need to go pay someone 20 grand for that. That's how to create it. And then you trial it. Nurturing now, you probably would have been nurturing manually, text messages, phone calls, all that jazz. If you've hit $1 million in revenue, you've now got a bit of a database, right? You've got people in there, you've spoken to a lot of people, a lot of them haven't bought from you. So now it's time to start nurturing those people. Emails, they work. Text, they work. Manual nurture is the best form of nurture. I don't know how many, nearly every single client we sign up, I send them a personal photo. Hey, pumped to hear you come be working with us. Works every time. I send the photo, the agreement's signed in about 3 seconds flat. So I'm not kidding. Nick sends me whatever messages a day. I go bang, bang, bang. I send them a personal message or a voice note or whatever it is, and they sign up. Okay? So manual nurture is the best kind of nurture, and nurturing can go on for years. We've signed people for years. We've been nurturing them for years. You're still probably nurturing people who have told you to fuck off 4 years ago. Yeah. SOP delivery is essentially like your operations. You want to get out of your operations. You want to get other people in there. I am terrible at operations. I'm terrible at managing things. So I don't do it, okay? From 1 to 5 million in revenue, you want someone in there. One of the biggest unlocks, which I think is in the next slide, to our business was hiring a general manager that is amazing at hiring. He's amazing at firing. He's amazing at performance management. He's amazing at all the things that I'm not good at, okay? And that has completely changed our business. And same thing, you want a weekly scoreboard. I did this as daily, because you've got a team now. So every single morning we have a daily huddle. Our sales team have a daily huddle. Our operations team have a daily huddle. What's the other team? Buyer's agent team have a daily huddle. So I just couldn't remember. So we have 3 daily huddles every single morning at 8 a.m. Every single person is on there, non-negotiable, camera on. And then we have a weekly leadership meeting on a Tuesday that I'm a part of, and I get all of the updates from everyone. And I pop into all the huddles every now and then. So you want to be tracking this shit daily, right? You want to keep your finger on the pulse. You're running a business now. It's not just like you used to do everything and I'll catch you later. You want to be more on the pulse now. Okay? Questions? 1 to 5?
Jack, what are you used to tracking?
CRM. We use Zoho. Had it from the start. Spent a lot of money and time, building it. CRMs are complete wastes of time and money if the data that is in them is no good, or they don't update it. I'm telling you right now, a beautiful bit of software with nothing in it is as good as no software at all. So one of the most important things when you start to build a team is no one cares about your business as much as you care about your business. So make sure you hammer your team, and there are consequences if they do not update the CRM with information. And it is so easy now with AI. Every single one of our calls is transcribed automatically, straight into the notes of that prospect or lead. So you need to make sure they're updated into their lead statuses, they're getting nurtured, it's critical. And if they're not doing that, don't pay for a CRM, it's a waste of time. Someone had their hand up, yep.
When did you put a GM on?
23, we hired a GM. So, don't know how I lucked out. Was the CEO of a global organisation living in Dubai, come back to Australia. Some schmuck referred him to me. I hired too late. I had a business partner in the early days, and when he jumped out, I wanted someone to get in there and fill that spot who's in there 24/7 and cares about the business like I care about the business, and that was instrumental. I now have a GM inside of my building company, grew a building company from 0 to 50 million before joining us. Same thing, instrumental. I don't need to be in that business, and he's better at it than I am. I've got a GM or manager style inside of my asset management company. Same thing. Critical. I lucked out on both of my guys, but that's the power of having a brand, which is the next thing. Another question? Yep.
Jack, how long did it take you to reach each level?
How long did it take you? We did 3 million in year one, 0 to 3 million in like 2020. 3 to 5 or just under 5, went back to 3 because of the Four Corners shit, and then went from 3 to 10, 10 to 25, 25 to 40. Cool. And the power, I'm going to talk through it, the power from going from 3 to 10 was all offer. Yeah, like the offer that we had. Any others before I roll? No? Cool. Oh, one more. Sales process, what's it like? Lead comes in. Lead comes in. Anyone heard of the term speed to lead? How quickly you call your leads when they come in. Inside of our dialer in our office, we've got a full-time AI guy who's essentially built it. So the lead comes in our CRM, it gets zapped straight to the top of our dialer. They get called within minutes. We've got internal AI, a guy that's built it for us, but some dialers have that automatically. They're fucking expensive. We've got a shit dialer and we built it ourselves. So we tried one. There's one that's out there pretty prominent at the moment, super expensive and it's no good. So very, very important. Soon as leads come in, that's when they are the hottest. If you can get, I don't know the exact statistic, but you should look it up. It's like if you contact a lead within a certain period of time, it increases conversion by something like 2 or 3-fold. So very important. We call them, we qualify them, we set them for a discovery call. We don't have a sales process that is any different from anyone else's. If anything, it is probably more simple than most of the sales process. And we mystery shop all of the time. If you are someone who is doing something that is cool in our business, good chance we've mystery shopped you. So we're always doing that. We always want to know what people are doing in the industry that are doing, we're hearing good things about. So it's very important. Discovery call. Straight into a sales call. We call it an advantage session, fancy name for a closing call. Triage call is a discovery call. Yeah. 15-minute call. Are they financially qualified? Are they mentally qualified? Do they align with our strategy? If they say, I want to buy a $200,000 apartment in Cairns, I say, go and speak to Nathan Birch. That's not us. Right? So, and then we tell them our fees up front. We are way more expensive than everyone else. If that's not okay, then probably not worthwhile going to a sales call. I'll leave that in the power of my sales team. We aim for closing the right clients. 1 call, 2 call, 10 call. As long as they close, that's all that matters. But we've got a crazy pipeline, right? So we generate I don't know how many leads a month, but thousands and thousands and thousands. 10,000 a month, there you go.
Hey, Jack.
155,000 in our CRM.
Have you perfected how to pay your staff?
Definitely haven't perfected anything, okay? I'm a guy up here that is still trying to work everything out like you all are, I can assure you. Yeah, have I worked out how to pay my staff?
Like, are they uncapped?
Pay them lots.
Yeah. Are they uncapped?
Yeah, well, okay, I'll tell you right now. Both of the 2 guys sitting there that have been with me longest are on multi-6 figures. Most of my guys are multi-6 figures. Yeah. So they're on fucking good money. But you've got to pay people good money to keep them, right? And that's the reality. And every single person inside of my organisation has a pathway to success. Not all of them make it to success, but they know exactly what they need to do. You've never seen people work as hard as Nick, they don't exist. and he's paid accordingly. We don't buy much shit under $1 million, right? So let's assume that someone has an owner-occupier mortgage of 800 grand. They already need an income of 200,000 combined just to service their current debt. And if they want to go buy another property at $1 million and borrow the whole amount, they need an income that's probably $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. Okay, so it's like if they don't earn that, they're not qualified for us. They need the capital requirements, or whether equity or cash, and they also need to financially understand and mentally understand that our minimum fee is $35,000 plus GST. Yeah. And 80% of our clients are not those people. They're people who are buying a higher ticket. So it's like if they're like, oh, fucking Joe Blow down the street charges 15, so no worries, go and use Joe Blow. Because that's not us, okay? And what I've learned, so really interesting, I travel a lot, and now I travel more to experience things and understand how they do things. So does anyone follow Simon Beard, Culture Kings? He did a video on this. There's this restaurant in the south of France called La Garite. It's in Cannes. I went there. I've been there twice now. I went there last year. So this restaurant's open like 4 to 5 months of the year. It does $60 million in revenue in those 4 to 5 months. And I reckon the average spend per table there would be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 for a lunch. Out of control, okay? And there's people there that spend millions of dollars on a lunch. Bottles, fucking all this shit. It's obscene. But what it proves to you is there is people out there with lots and lots and lots of money. We bought a property last week for $24 million. They paid in cash. You know how many of those people are in the world? A fuckload of them. And I want them to be my clients. So that's what you've got to understand, right? Most of us are controlled by our own thinking, not the reality of the world. So you need to if you want to be in the segment of the market that I'm in, you need to think like those people think. And that's what I try and, expose myself to now. Any other questions before we move on? No? Cool. So 5 to 10, leadership and brand leverage. I am and was an even worse leader than I am right now. I'm not a great leader. But it is the most important thing. Why the fuck are your team going to come to work every single day and work as hard as you when you run the business and you get all of the rewards? So you need to be a leader that inspires your people. Sometimes I'm good at that, sometimes I'm not good at that, but it is like, without a doubt, the most important skill. Why are people going to, 1, want to come and work for you, 2, stay working for you, and 3, work very, very hard to essentially make you more money. They'll make more money, but they're going to make you a lot more, right? So that's something that I'm constantly trying to improve, is how to be a better leader, and obviously how to build a bigger brand. How many people have seen me on social media before today? Oh, fuck, I need to do more. So, brand is the other thing, right? The only reason you can charge premium prices or you pay premium prices for any product is not because it's better. It's because of brand. There is no difference between a Louis Vuitton handbag and a Coach handbag. Zero. As a matter of fact, there was a thing, I don't know if anyone saw it, Dior, they were going through a court case and they had to show the court how much it cost to make one of their handbags that they charged $3,000 US for. Do you know how much it cost? $30. You reckon less or more people bought that bag after they found out it was $30? Dior's Dior, right? It's not about how much things cost to make, it's the perception of their value, and brand creates that. So that is all of my time. It is on brand and it is on becoming a better leader. So you stop being the operator, you're not the guy in there doing the deals. I had this limiting belief, it's like, oh, well, when I get off the tools and I'm not the guy doing the strategy calls and all that stuff, I'm not going to be able to charge the money, right? Because people want to work with Jack Henderson. They don't give a fuck. They just want the result. Cool. So this is it. This is the level 3. Sales manager, Nick, sitting in the audience, knows numbers like the back of his hand, spends more time at my office than he does, or our office I should say, than he does at his own house. And he loves it that much he moved within 300 metres up there. A great guy. He owns the numbers. Most weeks, Jack's very happy with him. Some weeks, Jack's not happy with him. So I'm not happy because of the results of the business. I'm happy because he doesn't know things that I want to know. So very, very important. How many leads do we have? Where did they come from? What was the show-up rate? Why did we have 150 sign-up meetings and a 25% conversion? What's changed? Why have we got a high refund request rate? All of these things happen when you are growing businesses, and you need to be able to diagnose the problem. You can't diagnose the problem if you don't know the numbers, okay? Head of operations, general manager. owns everything inside of the business. There's an issue, Jack doesn't deal with it now, he deals with it. Very important, it pulls you out of the weeds. This person said that person's whinging, this is this. Like, you don't want to deal with all that stuff. You want to be thinking at strategy level at this part of the business. Content machine, Joel, there he is, the great man. He's just got this big black file of all bad things I've said that I've never posted. He just keeps it away there to blackmail me one day. So literally everything I do to an extent is recorded and has been for many, many years. We're getting better and better at this now. But this will be recorded. This will be a long form on YouTube. This will be 50 clips. Maybe it'll get turned into ads. So very important. So I'll run you high level through my content strategy. Long form, we're going to do everything live. I decided that this morning. I told Joel first thing in the morning. So I said now all of our long forms will be live on YouTube. Just something I learned off Hormozy. Of that, they then get chopped up into clips. Of that, they then get transcribed and turned into LinkedIn posts. Of that, what else do I do? Heaps of other shit. Photo, all that jazz. And we probably post 10 times a day across the channel, maybe more. So yeah, it's a bit of a beast, but I want to do way more volume. I want to do 100 times a day. Hormozy's posted 30,000 pieces of content since January 1 this year. 30,000. It's more than I've done in my whole content posting journey. So without a doubt. Knowing your numbers. See this one right here? CAC, LTV, and ROAS. Does anyone know what CAC and LTV is? Not you, Perry. Fuck me. Does anyone know what that is? There we go. If you don't know those two things, you need to go and research what they are. I have a question. So the cost to acquire a customer is the most important thing as you start to scale. Anyone who charges $15,000 to $20,000 a buyer's agent, ads will not work for you, I can guarantee it. You will get to a certain point, you might spend $30,000 to $50,000 a month and they won't work because your cost to acquire a customer will exceed your ability to be able to cash flow it. Guaranteed. I've tested it. And I know a lot of people have also run ads. So you can't decrease the cost to acquire a customer. It is only going to increase if you're running meta ads because there is more saturation in the market, more people spending ads like me. And there are some big players spending money. I know a guy who spent 1.2 million last month on ads in our space, which makes everyone's ads more expensive. So the cost to acquire a customer and then what that customer is worth to your business. If you are only selling them one buyer's agent and service and hoping they come back for a second purchase, it won't work. You need to decrease the cost to acquire a customer as much as you possibly can, but there is a finite amount of that you can do. And the thing that is infinite is how much that customer is worth to your organization. Any customer that comes inside of Henderson to us is worth more than $100,000. Every single customer. So I know those numbers. And guess how much I can spend on ads? A lot, because I can spend $20,000 to acquire one customer. It's still 20% of my total LTV. Okay, and the only reason I was able to do that, which I'll run you through on the next slide, is because I built out the business. I'm not just a buyer's agent. We do lots of other stuff. And client community, right? Big Dennis up the back there, 73 years old. The bloke looks 40. On the phones every day, and he doesn't need to be. He's rich, don't worry. Calls our clients constantly. Hey, how's things? How's the property? How's your life? How's whatever? You want to refer us customers? We'll pay you $5,000. So constant. We always want to get more and more referrals from our customers because one, it makes our cost to acquire a customer cheaper, and if they refer us customers, they've always had a really good experience with us. That's Dennis's job. So if you're a client, there are some clients here, you'll likely hear from Dennis if you haven't. Any questions on that? Yeah, so this is 10 mil, you mean? 5 to 10, we were just Henderson. Just advocacy, that's it. When we got to 10, that's when it started to really blow up because we added these other things, right? And I'll run you through that. But you can easily, there's multiple people in our industry doing 10, 15, some touching 20 just with buyer's advocacy. Yeah. Anyone else? Questions on the last bit? Why? Interesting. So I don't know, do you follow soccer? I don't. Apparently there was this big soccer match in the US and it was all celebrities, people who do short form content, people who do long form content, people who do live content. And essentially they all run out into the field and the cheers got louder as it got to the end, right? So normal celebrities, no one really give a fuck. Then as you got to like short form content, we're like, ooh. And then as they got to the end, to the live streamers, berserk. And the reason for that is because people, when they watch a live stream, you're not spending 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 3 minutes, 8 minutes. You're spending like, I don't know how long these live streamers go, but it's like hours, right? So the level of trust is next level. The level of authenticity, it's not edited, it's like them. So I'm just like, I can speak with my mouth like underwater, right? So I just talk live. I am who I am. So it'll build way more authenticity, way more trust than pre-scripted YouTube intros and shit like that. Yeah. Cool. Anyone else before we move on? Nope.
How's your content changed over the journey?
Yeah, well, I mean, my content's changed because I've changed as a person, right? I've done more stuff. So, like, I'm someone who does something, then talks about it, not talks about things that I haven't done. I talk opinions on things, but I don't talk about stuff that I haven't done for myself or for clients. So that's why my content has changed. And how else has it changed? I've gotten more comfortable in my own skin. So, yeah, you start to become a little bit more authentic on camera if you are more comfortable in your own skin. So that's how it's changed, and it's done well. And I spend money on ads as well. You know, so that just blows it up even more.
He's the only one that's doing it. It's just about done. I wouldn't worry about it.
First hire, when I hired my videographer, Sam, he was not a videographer, it was a very sunny story. He was my housemate at the time, and he was an aircraft maintenance engineer. You know what that is? Me either. He fixes planes. And he's like, bro, I hate my fucking job. I don't want to do it anymore. I was like, well, I need a videographer. You want to come be a videographer? So he's like, all right. So he comes and becomes a videographer. He's never shot video before. He goes and buys like this Canon, he buys a Mac, and he was learning on YouTube as he was doing it with me. He's like, all right, how do I do this? Bang, he'd learn on YouTube, but then he'd come and shoot, and then he'd learn how to edit using all the editing software and all the rest of it. And he did that for like 12 to 18 months. And then he's like, I'm sick of listening to your voice. So then he actually now runs my Newcastle office, and we had a few videographers before Joel, but you just hire a videographer, they shoot and edit, and then as you get a bigger team, now we've got editors and videographers, yeah.
In addition to that, Jack, would you outsource the stuff being small, or
Would I outsource media? Yes. It's expensive, man, to outsource and do it consistently, right? Like a videographer is going to charge you, I don't know, 100, 150 bucks an hour or something for one shoot. And then I'm not someone who can like go and sit down for an hour and shoot 20 bits of content. Some days I shoot a lot of content, some days I don't shoot any content. So I want to have someone there all the time. So when I feel like shooting content, I can. Because it's not like I show up to the office every day and I'm like, showtime, you know? That doesn't happen. So I wish it did, but it doesn't. So ideally you hire them full time, if you can, or like on a shared basis. Maybe like if you have another business owner friend that you know, like, hey, let's pay for this 50-50. Could work. Cool. Now, 10 to 20 million. This is where we were last year. You don't grow by adding, you grow by multiplying. So this is, for the question before, this is when we started to add the different verticals to our business. So we worked out what worked well, which was we buy a lot of properties that you can add a lot of value to, and we just would refer all of that work out to builders and granny flat builders and all that jazz. And I'm like, I have a construction background. And I know a lot of friends who are builders, so why don't I just do this myself? So that's when we set up the building company. I got a business partner who's obviously the builder and has the builder's license, and that company has exploded. We referred everyone to finance. Everyone was getting finance, and we weren't making any money. That's not a very good business decision. So we brought finance in-house, and we just partnered with one of the biggest brokers in the country. PM, biggest opportunity in the space right now is property management. That is what I'm going after. You'll see me go aggressively after this space over the next sort of 12 to 24 months. For a few reasons, I can acquire them way cheaper than most people are, which is they're buying them for $5,000 and $6,000 a piece. I'll be able to acquire them probably for 500 bucks through Meta. And we're going to be further up the food chain. Instead of competing with everyone else, acquiring buyer's agent clients when they're thinking about investing, we're going to be acquiring them before they're thinking about investing, but they're already investors. So we'll bring them on, we'll go over their portfolio plan, we'll capture their finance, we'll give them all the right advice and refer them to the right people, and then when the time is right for them to buy again, we'll send them into our full service. So we're not competing where everyone else is competing. So very important, that's when we added the verticals. What you want to do, so Hormozy has this theory, it's called sawdust. So you think about when you build a house, you're chopping wood and sawing wood, sawdust happens as a consequence of building the house, okay? It's not a new thing, it's the thing that already happened. So all of these verticals to our business were already happening as a consequence of us buying property. We were referring to builders, referring to PM, referring to finance, so we just captured it. Hasn't changed my business, my focus, or anything like that. They're the same thing. You don't want to go and add more verticals to your business. You wouldn't go set up a gin company, for example, because you buy property and go, oh, fuck, we send our clients presents at the end of or gifts at the end. Let's go set up a very different business, okay? So very important to think about sawdust. What do I do already that I can monetize, right? You want to get your clients amazing results, but you're not in business as a charity, right? I'm not a non-for-profit, I'm a for-profit. So I want to be strategic. Leadership rhythm, like I said, I mentioned before, daily huddle every single day, finger on the pulse, non-negotiable. Weekly leadership meeting, non-negotiable. Accountability, non-negotiable. Me as a leader, I'm accountable. My team are also accountable. It's non-negotiable. And if you're not accountable, you don't work in our organisation. Build the halo, which is just around branding, right? It's very hard if you're in our space not to see my face somewhere. Whether you like it or dislike it, I'm there, okay? I'm in the conversation. That's the reason I'm speaking here. Not because I'm better than anyone, but because I've got a bigger brand than everyone, which means if I show up here, other people are going to show up here. So try and get everywhere. Again, PR now. I don't source PR. It comes to me. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but doesn't actually matter. Podcasts, events, all that jazz. So you want to be everywhere. And that's also how you're able to charge premium prices, right? Because like I said, it's all perception. You don't buy a Louis Vuitton handbag because it costs 20 grand to make. It costs the same as a normal handbag to make. Probably less, actually, because they do such volume of them. You pay 20 grand for a Louis Vuitton handbag because when people see you wearing a Louis Vuitton handbag, they go, fuck, she is crushing it. Or fuck, he's a weirdo because he's got a Louis Vuitton handbag. One of the two. But that's the reason, right? It's all perception. So that's the important thing. Talent pipeline, we've got full-time internal recruitment. We have external recruiters that send us talent, but we have it internally. Our people and culture is internal. We are going outbound constantly. We're not, what's the word I'm looking for? We try and poach staff from other people. That's the reality. We're growing our business, okay? So I don't care about anyone else's business. I care about my business, and I want the best people. So we've pissed some people off. Why'd you call my staff? Doesn't bother me. We want the best people in our organisation. Has anyone seen what Zuckerberg's been doing recently? Not bad, huh? I can't offer you 100 mil, but I'm going to give you a good time. But that's the reality. You want the best people in your organisation. And that's the best thing about mystery shopping. Hey, you talk to someone good on the phone, you go, that person's really good. Let's try and get them to work for us. And when you have margin in your business and you're not running on razor-thin margins, you can pay people good money. Client ascension, again, very, very important. Having an ascension chain. Some people, fuck, 35 grand's a lot of money to come on, Jack. I don't really trust you. You've got good content online. Don't know about your team. So we might bring on as master plan only, right? Portfolio planning only. Very few people come onto our organisation at portfolio planning only and don't ascend to full service. So you need to make sure you have an ascension pipeline where if people come on at a lower ticket price, they can ascend up to accelerator. And then we have a 110,000 plus GST offering called private wealth. Lots of people out there that'll pay us 110 grand, I can assure you. Questions? No questions? Yeah. Yep, when I started the additional companies. Yeah, well, I mean, finance, we just partnered with one of the best brokers in the country. So it's white labelled. We got a good revenue share. Building company, I started it with a guy when I first started in construction at AWJ Civil when I was 15 years old. He started the same week or month. He went off and got his builder's license, worked for some big tier 1 building companies. I went down another pathway, then we just reconnected. So we already had a connection. Most trustworthy guy you've ever met in your life. What else? And then we obviously got the GM in that organisation who was someone that I also knew. He was in another business at the time. They sold that business. He was looking for a new thing. We got him. Again, all these guys and girls that are good are on multi-six figures. They're not people you can pay 80 grand or 100 grand or 120 grand. You've got to pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars and then generally a bonus or some sort of rev share. PM poached from another organisation, and then we've acquired more staff from buying property management businesses and just hiring. And then also, good people inside of your organisation generally know other good people. So, very important. Anything else? What are the criteria? Criteria. Are you good? Are you shit? If you're shit, you don't work here. That's the truth. I have 3 values in my organisation. You know the beautiful thing about building a culture that all lives by you? I don't even have to make the decision anymore. My team do. I go, this guy, gone. And that's like, if they don't show up on time, they always have fucking days off, they're not performing, it's super easy. Go and work somewhere that'll accept that. We won't. So that's literally it. You know, we have 3 values: be the standard, unwavering commitment, and something accountability. What's the other word? Extreme accountability. Just fancy words for saying, do what you say you're going to do. Any others? Nope. And this is where we are now. So we're on track to do 40 million. Fingers crossed nothing changes with the market. So this is essentially our organisation now. We have a C-suite. We don't call it a C-suite, but it's like general manager, myself, general manager of advocacy building company. I've obviously got directors in the other companies. We have an advisory board that catches up bi-monthly. Got some fucking incredible people on that. It's all free of charge. They just want to see me be successful, which I'm very, very grateful for. Capital allocation is something that I have to learn. I'm very good at spending money. When you run a big business, you can't just be spending money. Like, you need cash at bank. And when you're making very, very good money, it's very easy to spend money. I can assure you. Everything, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Okay? The thing that I have learned is all the things I say no to is what actually makes us money. Because there's always new things. Jack, do this, partner with me on this, blah, 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 blah. But everything I choose to do, I'm saying no to the thing that brings us the most amount of success. Whereas everything I say no to is just me saying yes to the thing that is the main thing. Internal university. So my general manager of advocacy was the CEO of Abbey Road Institute Global Academy, you know, the Beatles thing. That's what he did. He was a musician. And very, very intelligent guy. First time he came into the organisation, he's like, all right, so how do you go on board people? I say, here's a phone, here's a laptop, go call. He's like, all right, we've got to change that. So now, when people come on board, we have this thing called Henderson University. And they on board through Henderson University. They learn everything about us, what to do, what not to do, how we live, how we show up, blah, 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 blah. So it makes onboarding much more seamless, much easier. There's some glitches every now and then. Dennis picks up on a few. But it's better than, much better than what it was. I used to bring people in and be like, all right, man, sit next to Nick or sit next to Damo. They'd tell me at the end of the day if they were any good. So, and then this is where I'm at now with succession planning. Good people, you can pay them well, but there's always people out there that potentially will pay them more, right? So I had a business partner. I no longer have a business partner. I've got full control of the organisation now. And it's very important to me that everyone shares in the success of the organisation, right? So it's not just Jack making all the money. I want everyone to feel like an owner. So I'm currently going through, what does equity look like for our team? How is it earned? Yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. Incentives, you know, bonuses, all that type of jazz. This is the growth equation. Does everyone understand that? Looks like algebra, doesn't it? Revenue is essentially the volume of activity that you do, the value that you add, the velocity in which you do it at, and the vehicle that you're in. And we're all here because we're in an incredible vehicle with massive tailwinds, which is the buyer's agent industry. If you can't make money in this industry, you suck. That's the truth. It is so simple. There are people out there screaming for assistance. Everyone has their avatar. Jack Henderson doesn't appeal to the middle-aged Indian man. Jack Henderson also doesn't appeal to the mid-30s single mum. Jack Henderson doesn't appeal to lots of people. But guess what? Lots of you are out there that do appeal to those people. And there is lots of them. So know who your customer is and talk in their lingo, and you will attract more than you know what to do with, okay? And just be the best, okay? Now, all you need to do is go and implement. This is like mental masturbation, right? It's like, oh, learning is good. It feels good. Yeah, learn. Now you need to go and implement this shit, right? If you're not at $1 million and you want to be at $1 million and you don't go and find out where your lead, should come from, and you don't do 10 times the volume you're doing now, then you don't really want it, right? And there's going to be someone like Jack Henderson who does want it more than someone else who'll do the work to go and get it. So that's our story, 0 to 40 mil.